Seeds of destruction, how they hijacked our world's food supply. The damage done by the industrial agrochemical industry is officially out of control now. Here are a series of shocking statements based on the findings of America's Union of Concerned Scientists. Today, the majority of American farmland is dominated by industrial agriculture, the system of chemically intensive food production developed in the decades after World War II, featuring enormous single crop farms and animal production facilities. Back then, industrial agriculture was hailed as a technological triumph that would enable a skyrocketing world population to feed itself. Today, a growing chorus of agricultural experts, including farmers as well as scientists and policymakers, see industrial agriculture as dead end, a mistaken application to living systems of approaches better suited for making jet fighters and refrigerators. The impacts of industrial agriculture on the environment, public health, and rural communities makes it an unsustainable way to grow our food over the long term, and better science-based methods are available. No matter what methods are used, agriculture always has some impact on the environment. But industrial agriculture is a special case. It damages the soil, water, and even climate on unprecedented scales. Intensive monoculture depletes soil and leaves it vulnerable to erosion. Chemical fertilizer runoff and CFO waste add to the global warming emissions and create oxygen deprived dead zones at the mouths of major waterways. Herbicides and insecticides harm wildlife and can pose human health risks as well. Biodiversity in and near monoculture fields takes a hit as populations of birds and beneficial insects decline. One of the greatest studies and published works on this subject is from author F. William Engdahl. Below is a detailed review of his important work on this subject. Birds and bees are something most of us take for granted as a part of nature. The expression teaching about the birds and the bees to explain the process of human reproduction to young people is not an accidental expression. Bees and birds contribute to the essence of life on our planet. A study by the U.S. Department of Agriculture estimated that perhaps 1/3 of our total diet is dependent directly or indirectly upon insect pollinated plants. The honeybee, Apis mellifera, is most important pollinator of agricultural crops. Honeybees pollinate over 70 out of 100 crops that in turn provide 90% of the world's food. They pollinate most foods, fruits and vegetables, including apples, oranges, strawberries, onions, and carrots. But while managed honeybee populations have increased over the last 50 years, bee colony populations have decreased significantly in many European and North American nations. Simultaneously, crops that are dependent on insects for pollination have increased. The phenomena has received the curious designation of colony collapse disorder, implying it could be caused by any number of factors. Serious research, recent scientists studies, however, point to a major clause: a use of a highly toxic system pesticides in agriculture since about 2004. If governments in the EU, USA, and other countries fail to impose a total ban on certain chemical insecticides, not only could bees become a thing of the past, the human species could face staggering new challenges merely to survive. The immediate threat comes from the widespread proliferation of commercial insecticides containing the highly toxic chemicals with the improbable name neonicotinoids. Neonicotinoids are a group of insecticides chemically similar to nicotine. They act on the central nervous system of insects, but also on bees and small songbirds. Recent evidence suggests they could also affect human brain developments in a newborn. Some 5 to 6 years back, reports began to circulate from around the world, especially out of the United States, and then increasingly from around the EU, especially in the UK, that entire bee colonies were disappearing. Since 2004, over 1 million beehives have died across the United States, and beekeepers in 25 states report what is called colony collapse disorder. In winter of 2009, an estimated 1/5 of beehives in the Ukraine were lost, double the natural rate. Government authorities claimed it was a mystery. Continue reading The Death of the Birds and the Bees Across America by William Ingnall. Today, more than ever, the world's food resources are being hijacked by giant corporations that are turning farms into factories and replacing natural resources with genetically modified food like substances, or, as we all know, GMOs, my friends. These things are horrid. They they already know that when you eat these things that they just destroy your gut, your digestive system. I mean, you it's like eating a plastic apple, and saying that's food. I mean, but it's way worse. It's horrid. It's like pesticides and things, and I just think we should do away with it. And as they were saying, the Ukraine had already noticed that. I believe Russia won't even allow these things into their country. And I don't blame them. And I wish that our country was like that. But unfortunately, our country seems to be more on, trying to cut a dollar or make a profit, even when it comes to the food you put in your children's mouths, my friends. Well, with that, leave your thoughts and your comments below and talk to you later. Bye.